Hey campers, George here, sitting outside in the South 40. Beautiful day today. Just did all the lawn maintenance. Thank goodness for the lawn racer. But chores all done, sitting here just relaxing, enjoying the day. But while I was doing that, found some sticks. And I thought, after my last camping trip, I used a lot of toggles, just sticks off the ground. And I thought, it's time to make me a toggle bag. So, that's what I'm going to do now, and I'll show you how I do it. Let's check it out. First thing I want to do is the stick that I find, I want to make sure that it's not old and weak. I can't bend this. Now, the toggles I use them on my tarp with a Prusik Knot, and they work great, handy to have. The problem is if you can't find a good stick lying around, you're in a little bit of trouble. So I decided I need to make myself a toggle bag. Make up some toggles and put them in the bag and put it in with my tarp in the bag so that I have them anytime I'm out there. And I'm going to use a little folder I did a review on a while ago, and this is a little Gerber. And it's a nice little knife. And it just happened to be on the man cave table, so I grabbed it and came out here. We'll see how it does. The little Gerber name there. Don't know if you can see it, the Gerber symbol. It is a nice little knife, and it's sharp. So what I'm going to do is I have a stick here, and I pick sticks that are all about the same size and strength. And what I'm going to do is I have a long stick here. This is not the length of the toggle. My toggle's probably going to be about that long. I don't need a toggle longer than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the length of the toggle here with just a little notch. And I'm going to do the same thing further down. So I just marked it. I'm going to do the same thing further down. And there's another notch. So on this stick, I'm going to get 2 toggles out of it. I don't want to cut the toggles off and work on them individually, because when you have a short piece like this, kind of hard to work on. So you just leave them together and you work down and make toggles one at a time and cut them off. That's the way I like to do it. It just makes it a lot easier to work with. So what I'm going to do is I have my toggle length here. I'm going to just go around here so I know where the end of the toggle is. Round this off here. I'm going to put a notch down all the way around here. It's just like a round reduction all the way around, because that's where, when I use it on the Prusik Knot, the 550 cord is going to sit right in there and hold the toggle and stop it from slipping out if it moves a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's have at it. And always remember, be safe. Don't cut towards yourself in any way. Cut away. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to round this edge off here, get rid of this nasty stuff on the end here, and round it off a little bit. So I'm just going around here with it, and just make little cuts and work up towards the top until it's rounded off like that. You don't want any sharp edges. That's never a good thing. The next thing I want to do is halfway down. Now remember, I marked here. So halfway down, which is about there, I want to make my round reduction in there. So I'm just going to mark it around the stick here. And I'm going to put a V notch in it there. So just cut towards that mark that I just made. It's not going to be a deep V, because if you make it too deep, you're going to weaken your toggle. So I did that side. This is what I was talking about when you're trying to work with nothing on the end here. All I have is this short piece here, and it makes it really hard to get into. So you got to be careful when you're doing that. And don't do this. No matter how good you are with a knife, you're still cutting towards yourself. It's just going to end badly. So it makes it a little difficult, but you're not making a deep notch here. You just want a little indent there to hold the 550 on the Prusik knot. Just digging in, going around. And like I said, it doesn't have to be deep. And I just work my way around. And then come back here and just clean these up. Yeah, doesn't have to be perfect. I'll show you how to get rid of the little stickles sticking up. So you can see there, now I have an indent halfway down the length of the toggle. And now I'm just going to cut off the rest of the toggle. And the way to do that, basically the same thing here, is I'm just going to make a rose head, what I call a rose head on the top here. I'm just going to, well, let me mark myself around here so I know where I am. Just make a little cut around and then cut into that. The easy way to do it, of course, is get a little handsaw and cut it off. But that would be too easy. And all I'm doing is I'm just digging into the stick and keep it going until it's weak enough where I've got deep enough and made it weak enough I can just break it off. The whole point of this for me is whittling, playing with a knife. Just don't get that opportunity that often. So sitting at the back here on a beautiful day out, make me some toggles. You can see there I've dug into it. I don't know if you can see that. Let's get it, focus in on there. There you can see it. And as I dig deeper and deeper in there, it's going to weaken the stick. And then I'll just be able to snap it off. And now I'm going to snap it, just like that. And that's the little rose head I was telling you about. Don't know if you can see that. And then now all I'm going to do is just clean this off. Just like I did on the other side. Round it off. I don't know if you can see that, but as I go, so I just round it off. So now I have me a toggle. So of course what I wanted to show you was how I clean up the toggles. Well, I went through the whole process and forgot to turn the camera on. So I'm going to show you something quickly of how I do it, then I'll show you the end result. So what I have is the end of the stick here that I cleaned up and rounded it off. Well, if you look at it, it's got a little bit of stickers on it sticking up. And what you can do is take a big lighter and you're going to burn it. You just burn the ends like this. Go around. And you can choose how long you want to burn them for. And what's going to happen is you let it cool down. And then you just rub it with your hand like this. Rub it in your fingers or in your palm of your hand, rub it around. And now when you look at it, all those little stickering up pieces have gone because they've burnt off. The other nice thing is it gives your stick a little bit of character, as you can see there. Here's the original one that I did for you. And you can see here how burning it off like that and around the middle gives it some nice character to a plain old little toggle. Here's a different piece of wood, obviously a lot lighter wood, and you can see the result there. So that was what I wanted to show you before I forgot to switch on the video. Back to where we were. Now, those of you that are not familiar with a Prusik knot, the easiest thing I do with my Prusiks is what you need is you need some 550 cord. And you're going to double it over like this and make the Prusik knot with this over your ridge line and attach your tarp to it. and I'll show you what the advantage is. It's a great knot. So what I have to do is just cut this off. So I have a short piece of 550, which is going to form my Prusik knot. So I'll use my trusty Gerber. That's a pretty sharp knife, and it's keeping its edge. Not bad. Good looking knife as well. Now what I like to do is I like to burn the ends of my 550 cord. If you don't, it frays. You can see I've done it there. See that? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a basic overhand knot. So I've made a little loop. I'm going to burn those ends and push it in. I don't really want them to come apart either. And when you melt that, you can push it on there and it helps to hold the knot together. So I'm going to do that quickly. And you can see I burnt the end to the knot there, which gives a little bit of strength. It's not going to come apart. And that's going to form my Prusik. So I'm going to show you how the Prusik knot works and how to use a toggle with the Prusik knot on your top. Now what I did was I just found two short little trees here and put a ridge line here. And a ridge line is where you're going to hang your top on, or whatever you're hanging up and putting over there, you can hang it on here. Obviously it'd be a lot more rigid than this. It would be tighter and you would have your top hanging from the bottom. And we're going to say this is the top tie-off point. You know, on the top there you have your little tags so that you can put a peg in to hold it in the ground, or put 550 through and a peg into the ground. I've got my toggle, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make my Prusik knot. So here I've got my little loop that I made, and how it works, how a Prusik works, is you've got this here, you're going to hold it there, and you're going to take this through here once, like that, and through itself again twice. And you're going to bring it together and it sits like that. You see that? Now I'll be honest with you, I made this a little too short, but it's going to work for what I want to show you. And here, let me try and get in closer here so you can see it, is the Prusik knot. And if you look at it, you want it to look nice and neat, but here it is here. You see that? See how it looks? So what I did was I looped it through itself over the ridge line twice. See that? Now what I'm going to do is, here is my top loop, which would go over there like that. But I want to hold them together, and that's where my toggle comes in. If I put this, my top loop, through that little hole here that I have on the Prusik, I can do that. See that? I'm going to put my toggle in there. So I put my toggle in there and it sits right in the middle, and I can pull it down, and now you can see I've just joined the two pieces of 550. This is my top. Let me show you here. See that? Now you can position your top. One thing about a Prusik knot is when you leave it loose like this, hanging down, I can slide it back and forth. So here's the end of my top, is there. I need to tighten it up because it's sagging. So the top is there. When I pull, I can slide it. I'm tightening up the top. The top is now tight, and now that I have tension on that Prusik here at an angle, I can't pull it, and I'm pulling as hard as I can on it. It's not moving, so it holds your top there. When you're done camping, you can just release, pull your top, well, loosen this off, slide it in, loosen your top off, and your toggle, you saw it just fell out. But when it's under tension, it's not going anywhere. Now I grab my top and I pull it towards here. I can pull the toggle out and my top's undone. Prusik knot, connector on your top, and a toggle. Great way to hang a ridge line above your hammock. By the way, don't use this to hang your hammock. They're not rated for your weight. A tarp is not that heavy, and the tension you put on, you're not going to put 250 pounds of weight on it. So this is not rated for anything but tensioning a tarp or something like that. Another good thing you can use this for is to hang a backpack off the side of a tree. And the way you're going to do it is you have a loop like this on this 550, and you put it around. Obviously you would tie this off and you have a loop hanging off. Well, let me do it for you so you can actually see what I'm talking about. You got a piece of with an end on it, little overhand knot again. Go around, tie it off, however you want to tie it off, whatever your preference is. I'm just doing something really quickly here. That there, I have it tied off like that. I take my toggle, put it through that hole, it sits there. Now your handle that they give you on the top of your pack, right at the top, next to where they typically have that little pocket at the top, you can hang over here and hang your bag from the tree. Handy to do, especially when the ground's all muddy or whatever, and you don't want to put your bag on the ground. Any way you can save your stuff is a good thing. When it's been raining and it's muddy and it's kind of icky, or there's a lot of dew around on the ground, and early in the morning you're out there, hanging your pack from a tree like that saves it from getting wet and getting stuff on it. Especially if you're like me, I carry my tarp rolled up in the bottom of my pack, on the bottom, or a blanket, a sleeping bag, whatever you do. That, hanging it from a tree, keeps it off the ground. It's not going to get dirty or wet or anything like that. Another handy toggle thing. See? Hangs from there. Like I said, the real advantage to using toggles and Prusik knots is that you don't deal with knots. Once you've made the Prusik, you can leave it on your ridge line and not have to worry about it. Just wrap it all up. It's sitting on my ridge line right here, and when I put it up, they're there. I can slide them wherever I need them and hook up my tarp. Great. When you take them down, no knots to deal with. You got enough knots dealing with hanging up your hammock and all that sort of stuff. You don't want another 4 or 5 because you use knots on your tarp. Handy to have, easy to position your tarp, and off you go. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You know the story. Pretty sure I'll be back again soon. Something else to show you. I just thought while I'm doing this, I'll show you how I do it. Be safe out there, especially with them sharp and shinies. Never, never assume you can cut towards yourself. Just saying. Thanks for watching. You all be safe. Take care now. Bye.